Hello, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Akin Olasholanke from Great Minds Group, and we're delighted to host you all today on this very interesting webinar hosted by IBM, Insight Plum, and SAP. We are talking driving sustainable digital procurement transformation today. And as we all know that, it's been a very interesting season for the entire world. Industries and business models are changing fast than ever before, with majority of the companies facing supply chain crisis and the need to reinvent themselves as a sustainable business as the only way to survive and grow. So there's a lot happening in this space, and it is very important for us to have this kind of conversations to look at how organizations can adapt to this new normal and, of course, keep business moving. So we're looking forward to a very interesting session today. I have the pleasure of introducing my speakers today. We have a very interesting lineup of speakers that will be sharing their thoughts with us today and answering some of our questions today. Allow me to introduce our first speaker, and that's the person of Abrojit. Abrojit leads the SAP business practice at IBM Consulting-MEA. Abrojit will be sharing with us some of the thoughts and giving us some interesting perspective from IBM. Also, I would like to welcome our second speaker, and that is in the person of Mayank Chandler. Mayank is the founder and CEO of Insight Plum, an IBM partner and a global mission to make procurement and supply chain technologies and skills more accessible to companies of all sizes and transform them into insightful purposes to drive sustainable businesses. Before we get into the discussion, I would like to just run us through the agenda that we have for us today. Today, we will be talking about procurement transformation challenges. We'll look at the impact. Also, we will look at some of the IBM and Insight Plum's holistic approach to sustainable procurement transformation. Also look at the best practices when it comes to transformation best practices. Also, customer case studies. We'll be having one of our guest customers who will be speaking to us from Whitco. I'll be introducing him much more later. And after that, we'll talk sustainability transformation, and of course, we have some polls in between before we go into some of the offerings that are available from IBM and Insight Plum, and then we will take many of your questions and answers. So please be part of this conversation and let's engage as we go on. Just put faces to the picture to the face of our speaker. This is Abrojit, and Abrojit will be sharing thoughts with us as well. I introduced him earlier. Also, we do have Mayank as well, who will be also sharing the thoughts with us. Thank you all once again. Hello, Abrojit. Hello, Mayank. Can you hear me?
Hi, Akinola. Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for inviting. Hello, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. So, Abrojit, I would like to start with you and to start this conversation by looking at what you think are some of the challenges that customers are facing today in their digital transformation journey, sharing perspective from some of your engagement with, working with different customers in this space. Over to you, Abrojit.
Sure. Thanks, Akinola. So today we see the digitally savvy industries, such as high tech, media, and telecom, and many others have faced or even facing challenges in their digital procurement transformation journeys. In fact, we have also noticed the same in the traditional industries, such as oil and gas, automotive, infrastructure, and pharmaceuticals, who are facing the challenges or who have faced challenges during their journeys. Now, the challenges that could vary from, which is on your screen, but I would like to highlight a few of them. Starting with solution selection, right? A right solution. What is the right solution for them to go digital in their procurement space? Then, of course, that also has a challenge that leads to high project costs or extended budgets during their project. That is one of the important challenges, right? And with that, the availability of the resources with adequate skill set who would drive the project, who are the core of any project, right, or any transformation journey for an organization. And very important one that I would like to highlight is selection of the right implementation partner who has the in-depth knowledge of end-to-end solutioning, the processes, the best practices around the industries, right? And another critical challenge, which you see on the screen, is, of course, many organizations are facing, that is one of the important aspects during the journey of a digital transformation in the procurement space are the change management and the solution adoption process, and in their whole journey, right? Now, this actually links up with the scalability of the solution and the innovation of the roadmap, right? And many others that you see on the screen, which has a equal or more impact on this entire journey that the challenges are included.
Thank you very much for sharing quickly on those thoughts. And I think it's very important of what you have highlighted. And I think at the same time, when we look at challenges from the way you've described them, these are some of the reasons why some digital transformation project fails. And I would like to take this a bit further to ask you how this impacts this whole process. What is the impact of these challenges on different transformation initiatives?
Right. Yes, that is very important, because facing the challenges, and then definitely there are follow-on impacts for the organization or the leadership within the organization who are driving this initiative. And any failed transformation project will have very, very long-lasting impact, right? And few of them that I would like to highlight again, which you see on the screen, right? ROI on solution. So when you target, when you do a business case, when you have targeted benefits to realize, and then that is not realized, then definitely there is a direct impact on the ROI that is based on the solution that you have targeted. Then the missed opportunities, right? So digital transformation opportunities are very rare within any organization, and it does not come anyway. Hence, with the compromised stakeholder experiences, employee dissatisfaction, and no significant process improvements, the opportunity is either lost or it's missed, the digital transformation opportunity, right? And another major impact that would be the solution architecture with that may limit the ability to scale or embed an innovation, as I mentioned in my previous slide. That all results into a high BAU, support cost and any additional costs. So challenges are very high. Challenges which are critical that impacts failed transformation journey. These are the key impact that happens during that.
Hey, and thank you very much for sharing thoughts on that. And I think you've really highlighted some of those key points, and I hope the audience are able to drive value from that. Please engage us in the chat. We would like to hear from you throughout the session. Whatever question we can pick up, we'll pick on them. If not, we'll take them during the Q&A session. I think this is a good junction to have a quick poll. I would like to invite our audience to participate on the poll. And the poll question is very simple. What are your biggest procurement challenges, transformation challenges? And I think, we have 4 different options. Also from some of the points that Aboji just mentioned, we would like to hear from you. What are your top points and your top key challenges? And you can just punch in the button, and then we'll be able to see the results. So I'm going to leave this for about a minute to allow everyone participate before we move on to the next session. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you. I'm going to leave it for a while. Thank you. I can see different options being, going on, and I see different links going. Thank you for participating. I would like to encourage you, if you have not participated, to participate before we close the poll. I will leave this for about another 30 seconds. Okay, thank you all. I'm going to close the poll now, and then we'll move on to the next session. Thank you for your participation on the poll. Really appreciate your engagement. Abhijit, I'm still going to stay with you to this next question on what procurement leaders need to do today as they embark on the digitization process. If you can please share thoughts on that as well.
Sure, Akinola, and thanks everybody for participation in the poll. So with our experience in the industry over over a period of time doing different projects and different digital transformation initiatives, participating in digital transformation initiatives, definitely we have gathered some best practices and industry leading practices, and from that, what we can say that leaders today would need to make sure the digital transformation initiatives are a success. First and foremost thing, there is a need to be digital insight driven, sustainable and adaptive approach for the entire transformation initiative, right? And that is by digitizing processes with scalable architecture for continuous innovation, right? That's foremost thing to drive. Then, of course, driving insights by designing more outcome-driven procurement and sustainable supply chain along the whole end-to-end space within the procurement. And of course, amplifying the talent with an agile procurement operating model and investing in continuous skill enhancement, which plays a very, very important role. With this, these are the core that the leaders might need today to move on and get on with a procurement transformation, digital transformation journey, which of course I think Mayank would expand a little more on this.
Thank you very much, Abhijit, for your time and for helping to, pass that message across from when we started. I think this is a good point to bring in Mayank into the conversation to help us take this further. And Mayank, I would like to come to you to the next question. And if you can help talk us through how organizations can effectively achieve this transformation in this new environment that we find ourselves. Over to you, Mayank.
Sure. Thank you, Akinola. Yes, I'll just build on what Abhijit said. So, today our customers need to digitize, predict the future, and enable their talent to deliver savings and value like never before. So we have to take a holistic approach to procurement transformation for our customers, which encompasses these three broad areas, which is the digitized process, the drive insights, and the amplification of talent. So let me just explain these three in a. So what we do in digitizing procurement, here we focus on agile implementation of SAP Ariba and S/4HANA solutions through conducting impact assessment and then deployment of pre-assembled best practice industry solutions across the whole source to pay. And this is to achieve greater efficiency, superior delivery experience, customer experience or stakeholder experience and compliance. What we also do is we take an experience-led transformation approach, which focuses on establishing the right target operating model through business component modeling and driving consensus and prioritization of requirements through design thinking. And another key focus in this is also to drive supplier and content enablement, because without content and without your suppliers being enabled, you're not going to get through spend adoption or user adoption. Now, if I come to the second pillar, which is drive insight, this is really about continuous co-innovation with customers on emerging technologies like blockchain, RPA, IoT, to help customers make more informed decisions and embed greater control and compliance with their cognitive engineered business processes. Through this cognitive procurement agenda with our clients, what we are doing is we have these cognitive garage engagements for continuous co-innovation. We are basically able to co-locate and augment clients' artificial intelligence capability through design thinking. We identify and prioritize use cases relevant to their business and their industry, and then build cognitive solutions that go beyond a proof of concept and pilots and get embedded into their mainstream IT solutions to support their core business processes. We are able to build really impressive business cases that articulate the capabilities, driving value, and the magnitude of that value, and the areas of the procurement process that will be impacted. So now if I come to the third one, which is the amplification of talent, this is absolutely strategic and essential. Here, we're talking about elevating the customer procurement capability and intelligence from ordinary to extraordinary. Business fundamentals have not changed. What procurement teams need to do is deliver greater value through innovation linked to their corporate objectives. They need to have a sustainable competitive advantage over competitors and market. They need to protect their brand, including social, environmental management, and risk mitigation. And the future, of course, as we all know, is cognitive procurement, where you get the best of machines and humans working together to free up procurement professionals for more strategic value-add work and to manage supplier relationships. So, I would say that these are the three pillars, and this is our approach to achieving those three pillars and achieving this sustainable transformation through that approach.
Thank you very much, Mayank, for walking us through that approaches. And still talking approaches, what are some of the best practices in achieving a faster, agile, digital transformation? As to just take this further.
Yeah, sure. So let me highlight, what are the elements of this sort of a delivery approach. So key to delivering a transformation project of an appropriate size and scale requires an experienced implementation and a consulting partner. So often customers, especially their procurement and IT teams, approach transformation like an IT project, where you need to stand up an SAP solution at the lowest cost. But as we know from our experience, it takes a lot more effort to truly transform their procurement organization and drive impact for the rest of the organization. So key elements of our transformation approach are bringing in, firstly, the right experienced team that can help the customer create the vision and the target operating model for that vision, and then help execute that vision and do the appropriate knowledge transfer to the customer. Now, bringing in the appropriate governance to ensure a fast start and effectively manage the project within budget and time and steer through various milestones and stage gates. This is equally important. Then I would say bringing in orchestrated assets and accelerators to plug and play as much as possible, best practice, standard cloud solutions that are tailored for the industry of the customer. That's also very important. Now, with all these things taken care of, the most important piece of value that we can add for the customer is through disruptive design thinking. This is where we steer the customer to achieve breakthrough in their process design, often simplifying their process and making it more user-centric, also eliminating transactions and identifying use cases for automation, as I was describing in the previous slide. Another important feature to highlight of this delivery approach is to perform the right architecture due diligence and build process and solution that is fit for future and scalable and with minimum IT regret costs. I think Abhijit, you also touched upon this earlier. So yeah, I would say these are the key elements to really build a delivery approach that is going to help you achieve the transformation success.
Very interesting. And I would like to still continue in that thought for you to please elaborate more on the agile delivery approach system and how this can help deliver faster transformation.
Sure. So what happens in an agile delivery approach? Basically, what we're talking about here is that for a large transformation project, we believe that a hybrid agile methodology is the best approach. You need elements such as project management to be truly waterfall in terms of planning, budget, and governance of the various project phases. And on the other hand, you can have an agile build of the standard cloud solutions you're deploying to deliver maximum value in the shortest amount of time. So we lay a strong focus on assessing the procurement maturity of the customer, as this gives us, and often the customer, a great deal of insight into the current state of process, people, tech, and data at the start of their project. This insight is then used effectively to scope the project and to map the transformation roadmap. Once we get to the explore phase, as I mentioned in our approach before, the focus is on disruptive design thinking, as this helps the leadership team of our customers from various departments to come together and align on a user-centric design and re-engineer business. This helps to make the process truly sustainable and scalable for the organization. We are able to carve out use cases for automation, and more often than not, these are common across customers. So we already have the solution prototypes from the very start. And if I come to the realize phase, what we're talking about is basically, because of our experience, governance, and various assets and accelerators, we are truly able to build, integrate, and test a best practice procurement solution that incorporates the business complexity of the customer from the start and in their first go live of the solution. So that's realize phase. And lastly, the deploy phase. This is about ensuring the right cutover activities take place in parallel to the appropriate knowledge transfer, training, and readiness for the customer to go live with the new solution and effectively manage post-go live activities. So I hope this gives you a good idea on the agile approach.
Thank you very much, Mayank. I think it does and helps to really give a snapshot of how the agile approach can help in really delivering the faster and agile transformation. In terms of assets, Mayank, what are some of the assets IBM uses in helping to drive this transformation process through the agile delivery?
Yes. Would you like me to talk about the assets?
Yes, please. And then I can bring in Abhijit to help us elaborate more. Or if Abhijit, if you like to, talk us through some of the available assets that can help accelerate this phase.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. And I think I will just link what Mayank said in the last slide in a hybrid agile methodology approach. And he rightly pointed out a very important aspect, the accelerator and assets that we bring in, right? So it's IBM. IBM was incorporated for decades of SAP experiences and industry expertise to build a robust impact solution based on these elements of the industries and business processes. And these are just to jumpstart and accelerate the digital procurement transformation programs. And IBM Impact also enables a launching on day one, which Mayank touched upon, with a working live SAP solution, whether it's digital procurement solution with best practices and enhanced by our best practice elements and leading practices with the industry side. And also IBM together with Insight Plum. So we have assets and accelerator for each of the phases, which Mayank was talking about for a transformation plan, right? And that starts from a procurement diagnostic and a spend analysis, templates and schemas during the prepare phase with the project starter package and fit packages to start the project, right, from the day one, so that we don't start from scratch. Then, of course, it follows on with best practice, best-in-class templates of P2P, that is procure to pay, and design thinking tools and methods during the explore and blueprinting phase, which is one of the key aspects. And I think I would just like to go back. There was a question in the poll, there was a question in the chat of this webinar that can you throw some light on the typical user adoption of these solutions, in terms of business size, profitability. So I think I would like to link this with our assets and accelerators, where we have certain elements and accelerator and assets for the user adoption journey throughout the transformation initiative, right? Starting from the day one, because users' involvement, end users' involvement in the entire design blueprinting from the day one on a hybrid agile method is the key to success. And they are involved in business process blueprinting. They get to know what is happening, what is change, and that also helps in the organizational change management, right? So those assets would bring in that aspect. Now, coming back from an assets and accelerator perspective in an agile hybrid methodology for a digital transformation project, we have pre-configured SAP Ariba workbooks, which we call configuration workbook, different trackers and best practice templates, and also different test scenarios. So with industry-related business processes, we have different scenarios, scripts readily available during a realized test phase, where we can build upon those system and track it. And then last but not the least, during the deploy run, we have different trackers for changing over from a test environment to a production environment with a detailed communication plan, right? If you remember that I highlighted a change communication during the digital transformation initiative is so important with the organization that people need to be aware that what is coming, what is changing, what was today and what will be tomorrow. So the target state communication is very important. So we have persona basis change communication kits and materials, hand-holding and training assets, so that this user adoption journey can also be taken care. So in a summary, from starting to prepare to the deploy and support phase, we have standard leading practices, assets, and accelerator to jumpstart your digital transformation journey.
Thank you very much, Abhijit, for that. I don't know if Mayank would like to add anything, but I would like to take you forward, Mayank, on what, if you can explain to the audience, what a good procurement looks like from a best practice point of view. If you could help us map it out for people to have an overview perspective on what a good procurement looks like.
Sure. So, overall for your transformation, I would advise customers to take advantage of agile principles, reorganize your procurement teams to be more efficient, self-empowered, self-directed, and client-focused without losing category expertise. Now, what you see on the chart here is how we have established a closed loop integrated source to pay process through the deployment of SAP S/4HANA and SAP Ariba solution suite. This will help you digitize and automate the process to improve efficiency and productivity, and also offer better user experience to your stakeholders. Deployment of SAP Ariba and S/4HANA will give you a common data layer across your end-to-end processes that you can utilize the data and analytics to make better decisions at greater speed. Now, a key prerequisite for this would be to gain access to your previously hidden data and making use of it. Like we know that 80% of data that enterprises need is unstructured and unused. So this would help you to tap that data, analyze it, combine market intelligence and applying artificial intelligence to generate more actionable insights and make informed decisions. So if I give you a couple of examples from here, so let's look at, for example, the sourcing management process. What you could do is for bid and proposal, advanced insights into category and core supplier spending for faster, more competitive solution prices. You have these insights that are external and helping you inform and make better sourcing decisions, and also conduct the event at the right time with the right kind of structure. Again, give an example from downstream. If you are, let's say you need suppliers spending to the point of relevance and to make a difference, then you are able to basically tactically influence open POs and offer accordingly the right kind of consolidation or standardization to also influence the demand internally. So yeah, this is what I would say. I mean, what is laid out on the chart is an example of that closed loop, end-to-end, one source to pay process that's fully integrated.
Mayank, once again, and thank you once again, Abhijit, for both of you helping us to walk through this up to this point. Can you take us further on how to map out this transformation using this approach, Mayank?
Yes. Yeah, so sorry to extend, but I wanted to just also highlight that, what we talked about in the previous slide today is just the foundation layer. Okay. So being digital is just something that is absolutely expected and required today. I mean, 10 years back, if you were digital on a process like that, you would be seen as a world leader. But today, this is absolutely just the foundation and prerequisite to getting cognitive and more insight-driven processes and better buying experience into your procurement organization. So what we're really talking about is that start with digitizing your process, then start to drive automation and improve your category expertise, improve your strategic sourcing activity, then start to drive more insights and automation, the use cases we talked about earlier, or how we do design thinking to make automation part of this. So start to drive advanced analytics and cognitive insights into your process, forecast demand better, rather than being a reactive spend organization. And then this will help you start to improve the buying experience with for your stakeholders, which will again drive greater compliance, more aligned to strategic objectives, and will help you deliver additional savings. And then you start to get into more mature areas like dynamic discounted marketplaces. Commodity marketplaces really, if you ask me, is the future. So you will start to spend in that particular way rather than everyone doing their own sourcing and own contracts. They would just buy off more mature marketplaces out there. And eventually also, risk management. If you're a mature procurement organization, you have full traceability of your supply chain. And you're able to use technologies like blockchain for risk management. So this is what I would say is kind of a journey from going digital to being truly a world-class mature procurement organization.
Thank you very much, Mayank, for capturing that nicely. You wanted to add something else?
No, I was just going to say, just remember that none of this is possible without the talent aspect, that while you're doing continuous automation, ultimately, you are also needing to take your talent to the level where talent is able to use these insights and actually just do more of strategic stuff and manage relationships. So that, I think, of course, the skill set of the organization talent also is changing, and they require more consultative skills, more data science kind of skills. So yeah, it goes hand in hand with automating and digitizing. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much. I think at this point we would like to take a small detour and bring in our customer speaker. Remember last time I mentioned while I was introducing that we have a guest speaker who will be sharing with us their story, their transformation journey. And I would like to, at this point, introduce Mr. Sultan from Whitco. Mr. Sultan is the purchasing operations manager for Whitco. And just a little bit background about Whitco itself. Whitco is the water transmission and technology company currently owned by the Saudi government, established in 2019. In terms of the current year that we are in terms of Gregorian year. The company establishment is as a result of the Kingdom's privatization program and contributes to the national water strategy to ultimately help realize Saudi's Vision 2030. And of course, Whitco has a massive operations that span across the entire kingdom. And I think Mr. Sultan will be sharing more thoughts to us on that. Hello, Mr. Sultan. Thank you for joining us today on the session. Mr. Sultan, I would like to ask you questions for you. One is with respect to the decision to select SAP Ariba as your e-procurement solution. If you could maybe elaborate quickly on that before I go to the next one as well. How did you go through that process of making that decision?
Sure. When we studying that decision with our top management, and before we escalated that decision to our board members, we are thinking about our partners from the water sectors, our partners using SAP systems, and we cannot exceed that point. The second point, we make that study or buy regarding the ERP systems, and we get that point, we cannot go without SAP system. During pandemic, the last pandemic, Corona crisis, we faced a lot of issue with our previous systems. It's not suitable to modify it, to make that improvement in the systems. I think SAP, it's very suitable to go with the market and face that, such as that Corona crisis and several pandemic. Maybe supply chain, we will face a lot of issue economically, and SAP system can maintain that that functions or that pandemics very well. This is the first thing. The second question, we understand you have implemented SAP. Okay, this is the second question. If
Yeah,
you
the
want
second
to
question,
ask.
yes. Yes, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
So in terms of the changes and the benefit that you're realizing so far, maybe you want to share some of them as well from implementing the SAP Ariba e-procurement solution.
Okay. As I mentioned, when we build that system, we should think about our internal and external customers. We need to make that journey, it's very suitable for our customers, and to choose that system. I think the SAP system, it's very well can handling that function. We build our system and we make our customers use it, try it, and we train them to use our systems, and they are using our system very well now. Without any issue. There is some small issues or something, and we are capable to solve it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sultan, for sharing some of those
insights.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry to interrupt. I would just like to thank Mr. Sultan for coming here and sharing his experience. This was really insightful. And from both of us, Mike and myself, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you once again, and thanks for that. I'm going to take this forward to come back to Mayank now. Mayank, we talked earlier during some of the 3 points you talked about when you talked about talent amplification, how important is the role of talent. I would like to ask you about upskilling of talent, which is also equally important in achieving holistic transformation. Can you please elaborate on this, Mayank? Mayank, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was speaking mute. Yeah, if you see the skills in procurement today, there's a big skill gap at both at the corporate level as well as at the individual level. Now, majority of people are learning procurement only on the job. So a lot of people, as they move through their careers in procurement, only know basics of procurement and know operational procurement, like transactional procurement. It's very few who are able to see the or get involved in strategic procurement activity and start to see strategic innovation and transformation projects, and go up the chain to be really a procurement and sustainability champion or an emerging leader in that space. So very few see the full picture, which is really what they should be aware of from the market, right? To see the whole tech landscape, to see what AI and insight-driven processes exist, to know what is truly the art of possible with digital procurement and all the innovation that is possible today. To really understand what you can do with emerging tech like IoT and blockchain, understand sustainability and its impact, and also the goals and how to achieve the sustainability goals. And just, you know, you will only understand that procurement if you're exposed to best practice procurement. So all this means that there is a definite need to upskill your procurement, because if they don't get upskilled, they're not going to be able to drive this for the organization. So if you move to the next slide, I'll probably just elaborate on the skills needed today. So what skills do procurement people need today? They of course need all their core skills in negotiation and all that. They need to definitely understand procurement as a domain. They need to understand the end-to-end processes in procurement, but they also need a lot of these other skills, right? They need to have the soft skills. They need to have the emotional intelligence. They need to understand sustainability, the environmental impact of companies' activities, whether it's on production, sourcing, or on operation side. They need to start to understand those goals and measures. And definitely they all need to understand the technology landscape. Like I said, you know, the art of possible with digital procurement. So core, if I summarize, core 4 skills that procurement needs is the domain expertise, the skills in digital transformation, AI and innovation, and sustainability. So that's why I mentioned that for a transformation to be complete, you don't just implement, you also need to elevate the skills of your procurement organization. And if you don't have these skills in-house, you should outsource some areas. And this is what we offer to our customers: outsource a lot of such activity, or, you know, subcontract activity or subcontract parts of your process. So you gain skill over time. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayank. I'm going to pick you on the last point of sustainability, and I would like to ask, in terms of transforming sustainability, how or what is the best approach to, go about this correctly when it comes to sustainability transformation?
So sustainability is something that is now for everyone, and we need to act now. So sustainability is not something on the side. It's really like it's core of your corporate strategy today. So what are the key components is what probably I'll be able to describe here is how you bring in sustainability lens into everything. So you start with just understanding what policy, governance, regulations exist in the area that you operate in, and then start to establish your strategy and start to firstly assess your current state of actions. What's your current impact, what's your current carbon footprint, what is the impact of your current processes, and in every aspect, right? You start from that, and then you start to look at the climate action and the energy transition, start to look at what can be your strategy to get to net zero and to start to decarbonize. Now, once you have all this targets set and KPI set, then it's about executing that. So technology plays a key role. So digitizing your processes, improving your processes, eliminating processes, all this process re-engineering we talked about in procurement, but if you extend it across domains, this is what the companies need, right? So they need to digitize everything as a prerequisite to start to getting more automated. And then even as a company, if you are producing stuff, you start to digitize and produce new products and services that are, more innovative and sustainable. You start to drive insights into your operations. And if you look at the supply chain side of things, you need to definitely understand the sustainability of your entire supply chain. So again, implement technology to have that transparency. Packaging, for example, for companies where this is relevant, packaging is a major contributor as well. And then you look at what is your consumption across operations and your production and sourcing. So these, if you look at these three, then I think you are truly also beginning to transform to a sustainable organization. What we spoke about earlier about sustainable digital procurement transformation, it simply means that, again, what you are designing in terms of process, whatever you are re-engineering, whatever technology you're implementing is sustainable, right? So it's everything to do with being something that is scalable, effective, efficient, and reducing carbon footprint.
Very, very interesting thought. Thank you very much. As we come closer to the Q&A side, and of course towards the end of the session, I would just like to do a quick recap of some of the interesting points. We started from looking at the challenges that procurement transformation faced. We looked at some of the key drivers and different approaches towards implementing a successful transformation. We talked, Mayank talked about the tailored delivery approach. We also talked about the agile delivery approach as well, which was deep dive into as well. Also talking about the hybrid part of that. And of course, Abhijit helped us to understand some of the assets that are available to use from IBM's perspective, and of course, the best procurement practices and how you can do all of this. Thank you so much for all of the thought. And of course, not missing out the very interesting story from Mr. Sultan, sharing some of their stories and experiences with us with respect to their journey. Before we go to the question and answers, I would like to just pick on one quick, just to bring everything together. I would like to invite Mayank and of course Abhijit later to help all our audience understand what are the available combined offering from IBM and Insight Plum to help people navigate all of this journey to, the point of technology, services, talent, bringing everything together. Mayank, do you want to start first?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this offering really expands across the four things we touched on today in terms of how to achieve holistic transformation. So first thing is, of course, to digitize the process, you need the right technology, right? So the combined offering of IBM and Insight Plum enables you to have absolutely everything from a software license perspective and implementation perspective, or platform as a service, and then to really integrate that, or to then embed newer technology, like, we talked about the cognitive innovation garage, doing procurement maturity assessments or impact assessments. So everything from SAP and every other emerging tech is available out of the technology offering. And then we look at services, right? So you need transformation services, you need the strategy consulting, you need the transformation roadmap to be established, you need the target operating model. You need to decide what to insource and what to keep as, outsourcing. So you're running business process outsourcing or shared services. Again, a lot to do with maturity assessment and process improvement initiatives, a lot on category expertise, a lot of focus on payments and B2B payments as well. And also how to engage service procurement, like, freelancers and all that. And then we come to talent, right? This is something that's really missing in the industry. And I think this is one of the biggest offering that is needed, is to continuously assess and improve the skills of your organization. So we help you do that free skill assessment and enable you to get those future skills that you need in technology and the knowledge transfer you need to actually run your organization. And then we look at sustainability, right? I mentioned this briefly in the previous slide, but really to establish right from your corporate strategy and your strategy for ESG, and then your strategy to actually do the energy transition to clean energy, climate action, embed the relevant technology, data and innovation, look at your overall CSR, and look at supply chain operations in particular. And also where it's relevant, look at clean mobility. So this is the sustainability offering. So combine these 4 offerings across tech, service, talent, and sustainability. This is what you need in a comprehensive way to transform your organization.
Thank you very much, Maya.
And I think, yeah, sure. sorry, before you
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
just a quick.
Sure. So as again, thank you, Mayank. And as IBM and Insight Plum, the combined offering that Mayank expanded on the 4 major pillars: technology, services, talent, and sustainability. I would just like to add a couple of things that definitely we as consulting organizations, we have the ability to start from consult to create to implement end to end, and to make sure the journey or that initiative that you are taking, that we are partnering with you, we are able to partner with you and consult in the right way in every stage of your journey from the start to end, starting from creating a business case to go for solution advisory, which is the solution right for you, and then of course making sure you have the right implementation partner, and of course implementing the services or the solutions that we bring in together from an SAP perspective as well. So yes, just to summarize, we have the full range of offering, and we would be more than happy to work with you in future.
Thank you very much, Abhijit. One final poll question that we have before we close, and then we'll take a few questions before we close. I'm going to launch it, and then I'm going to allow you click on the options while we open up the question and answer. Abhijit and Mayank, I know you've responded to some of the questions. I would want to leave it open to you if there are any questions you want to kind of talk more about. I think there is one, Abhijit, I think you mentioned that you would like to talk about. There is one that says, what is SAP Business Network option, how it could help in procurement digitalization? Abhijit, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So SAP Business Network, again, that is something that is a collaborative platform between the internal and external stakeholders, between your supplier, mainly concentrating on the transactional documents, primarily from an order to cash scenario. And that business network hosts millions of suppliers who are associated within SAP network. And you have options of looking out for outreaching for suppliers during your strategic sourcing events, and then definitely the transactions level which come on during post purchase order is released. So that is going to a transaction level. Now, making them, this is a complete electronic channel of transaction. Okay. So you're trying to avoid any kind of manual interference, and it is very seamlessly integrated within your SAP landscape if you have one. And that's the SAP Business Network is offering from an Ariba perspective as well.
Thank you very much. Mayank, is there any question you would like to elaborate more on? I think there's a question on AI, ML, how they are helpful in driving value for procurement. You want to add more thoughts on that?
Yes, so I think the audience is looking for more examples. So there are many examples across the whole source to pay. So let me give you some examples from both upstream and downstreams. I think let's say, for example, sourcing. Driving insight into like your organization demand, aggregating that demand, and having an external view of commodity prices. So aggregating demand on the inside and comparing it with rates on the outside or pricing intelligence on the outside. What is easily possible today is to create sourcing events, quick source and strategic sourcing, both with this insight, structure the right market feedback structure, allotting structure, also analyze history of previous events, what worked in sourcing, what didn't work. So all of this can be easily automated, and that helps you just focus a lot more as a procurement buyer or as a commodity manager on the actual sourcing activity rather than the transactional or the tactical bit of it. So that's one example. When it comes to contracts, a simple example would be today, again, technology easily allows you to read all your current legislation and make sense of that, or update on the new legislation that you may be operating in, or let's say if the new law comes out. You're able to get that external insight into your systems, read and scan, let's say, your 5,000, 10,000 contracts, see where you need to make a change, see which contracts are impacted. Now, if this was a manual activity, this would take a long time, right? So you're also not relying on the expertise of the human only here. You're not relying on, okay, my commodity manager is well experienced or my contract manager is well experienced. You are combining, or you are helping that commodity manager with the right insight, external as well as internal, right? So it's all about, we are sitting on a lot of data. It's just how now the technology is able to drive insight out of that data and visually put it in front of you to help you make those informed decisions. So these are a couple of examples, I think, on the upstream that I can easily give you. On downstream, on P2P side, again, simple things like organizing your shopping basket, understanding your recurring spend pattern, positioning products accordingly. These are some of the things that are, very easy to improve your buying experience and to simply help improve the compliance in your P2P and to buy more from your preferred supply base. So this is, again, very easy to see that.
Thank you very much, Mayank. And I think, this is a good place to look at, to wrap it up. I want to say it's been a very interesting journey from the beginning, driving sustainability, digital procurement transformation, and having different angles to it. I would like to say a big thank you to all our audience for participating and everyone that made it very engaging, from Siva to Mohammed, Hamad, Sohail, Suhaib, and a lot of the other audience that were able to put on the question. Amit, thank you all for being part of this session today. Any question we are not answering, we'll take that up post-event. Because of our time, we don't want to keep everyone waiting for long. I would like to say thank you once again to Mayank, as well as Abhijit, for sharing your thought and your knowledge with us today. And of course, our guest speaker, Mr. Sultan. Thank you so much for taking the time to be part to share your experience as well. I believe it has been valuable, and it's been a valuable session in Hall. Thank you all. At this point, I would like to bring the event to close, and we look forward to future opportunities of having you in other sessions that we host. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day ahead.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.